Defense. Rebound. Knee up.
Welcome to Timeout with Coach Mike Miller. Coach Miller is the basketball coach with the most wins in LACC history, coaching his teams to a national record of 14 straight conference championships, breaking UCLA's old record of 13. Coach Miller is the first basketball coach in California basketball history to win a state championship at both the high school and college levels. Coach Miller has been honored as Coach of the Year 18 times and has produced almost 100 Division I players. For the next 2 hours, get ready for stats, facts, rants, and your opportunity to chat with one of the most successful basketball coaches in the entire country and his friends.
Timeout
With Coach Mike Miller.
Welcome back to Timeout with Coach Miller. It's exciting to be back in studio, Scott. We've got another show tonight, a good one, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty stacked room, stacked lineup.
Yeah, sometimes it's stacked with players and teams and stuff, and we always like that energy when we have a high school team in here. We've had Westchester, we've had Pioneer, we've had, I can't even remember them all. There's so many. We've had Manual Arts, Fremont.
Yep, it's like
Westchester, Pasadena.
Pasadena High. We've had some great teams and coaches and programs in here this year. Always a lot of energy. And tonight it's a little more serious because we've got some big time guys in here with us tonight.
Full on college coaches, D1 coaches.
Yeah, and we have our John Wooden Award people in here too. Ernest Baskerville is with us from right across the street.
How was the commute?
Long.
Actually, I think I saw your entire commute.
Try not to get in trouble, jaywalk.
Yeah.
That's important. We don't want the rats down here near Skidrow Studios to arrest you or anything.
I saw one on like a little piece of cardboard surfing in the water because the rain is so bad.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
Well,
they don't go to your side of the street.
They know better.
They stay on ours, though, don't they, Scott?
Last week, I was outside talking with Jeremy, the producer here sometimes, the owner of Skidrow Studios.
Right.
With the big rat out there, it turned out someone left like a container of Chinese takeout, like right on the sidewalk, and they were like, right on, Chinese buffet.
Okay, excellent. Well, I always like to start by introducing my team. In the sound booth tonight, we have Jenny Guzman. Jenny, it's great to have you. I really mean that.
Oh, it's great to be back. I haven't done your show since the year started.
That's right. We used to have you all the time, and it's great to have you back in the sound booth, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you. You have to come back Tuesdays.
Yeah, I know. They've been on me, Scott, to do this twice a week. We were doing it twice a week, and we cut back to one after 3 months, and they're on me to do two nights a week. Jenny is just wearing me out, but right now, Jenny, one night a week is good for the old coach. I'm
fine with that. If you're fine with that.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime sometimes here, and so I one night a week is good. I might talk Ernest into doing a night. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, Jenny, thanks for being in the sound booth. Across from me is Ernest Baskerville, who is from the John Wooden Award, and they are right across the street.
The good side of the street.
Good side.
So, Ernest, thank you for joining us again.
No problem.
Ernest has become my kind of, go-to special. He's not really a guest. He's now a guest co-host.
I know.
So he's gotten past, we had him as a guest once, and now he's a guest co-host. So here he is.
Get a verse in the rap.
Yeah.
Well, we had him as a co-host one night, too, when you weren't here.
It was just you and I.
Yeah, it was just me and you, 2 hours.
Exactly. So I've got Scott Schultz to my left, who's been with me at LACC for many years, and Scott is a professional storyteller. Yep. Any stories you're telling? Any place you're doing a show?
Well, I had my first Busted show in Echo Park last Saturday, and it was standing room only, which I was really psyched for. We did a lot of different types of marketing and promoting for it, and worked out great. Now tomorrow night, back at Lot 1 Cafe in Echo Park, I'm going to be performing with 3 other bands. And I'll be going up between the sets, and that's in Echo Park, Lot 1 Cafe, really rad place.
Nice.
Just got back from Vegas yesterday too, so I was at a trade show for the daytime thing that supports everything else, and so I'm pretty beat on that. And thought I might cross paths with you while I was there, but we just missed each other.
Yeah, we sure did. But Finley Prep didn't miss us. They dusted us off pretty good. We were down 9 with about 9 to play, and then that was all she wrote. So anyway,
That's why we didn't get a text.
yeah, I'm glad I'm not in Vegas anymore. We went 1-1 on that road trip. Hey, across from me, diagonal, is my favorite former power forward, Chris Maxwell.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, Chris, and it's great to have you back. Chris used to hold down the paint for me for a couple of years, and he started on 2 CIF championship teams, a state championship team. Double guy, used to kind of take care of business down low, and now he's taking care of business here in the studio with us on Timeout with Coach Miller.
Yeah, long week watching games.
I know.
Driving everywhere, it seems like, but it was fun. So, who did I see Tuesday night?
Who did you see Tuesday night?
Wow. I've seen so many games recently. Okay, tonight I was at Redondo Union, so I saw Redondo Union and Loyola.
And they just blend together after a while, don't they?
They do. Tuesday night, what game did I go? Oh, I went to go see our friend Greg Gilmore at Pioneer.
La Cañada Pioneer?
Yeah.
Close game. I heard.
It was a great game. Sorry for their loss. Coach Gilmore, he did a great job, but they just – La Cañada was a little bit too much for him in the end, but it was a great game.
Well, great season, Coach Gilmore and the Pioneer Titans, so we'll give them a shout-out. They've been on our show. Now, let's get to our guest. Our special guest tonight is an old friend. Old, boy, long time. We go back many years.
Don't say that word too much.
Don't say it too much. No, I know. Hey, he used to be a young kid. Now he's kind of a middle-aged guy.
Yeah,
so,
losing my hair at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we've got the camera on you, Dietrich Taylor, and Dietrich is the head coach at Cal State Fullerton. Go Titans.
Go Titans.
Titans had a big win last night, Scott. They beat Cal State Northridge 82-81.
Oh, nice.
And that's a huge win. Those Big West games are brutal. Those conference games, so many of them are close, aren't they?
They are. Each night you look at the scores. The one thing that I've found is anybody can beat anybody in our conference. Last night we were fortunate to beat Northridge. I think Davis beat Cal Poly last night in a pretty good game. And I would imagine that everybody would have picked Cal Poly to win that game, but Davis got a much needed win. And so at this point in the year, anybody can beat anybody, and it's a heck of a conference that I'm learning a lot about.
You know, the Big West is kind of underrated. You know, for a time when I grew up coaching basketball, when I was coaching Chris, you know, Chris, you remember I used to take you guys up to Vegas all the time.
Right.
And I was, you know, kind of at the knee of Gerg and Stein. They taught me my basketball, and they were Tarkanian's guys, and they kind of ran the program at UNLV. And UNLV was in the Big West, and Santa Barbara was dominant. New Mexico State was in there. They were dominant. And the Big West was a powerhouse.
That was must-see TV on Monday nights. That was part of the big Monday package you watch. I mean, we wouldn't miss that for the world.
That's
you go
right.
watch the Big East and the Big Eight which was the Big Eight back then, and then the late night game was always a Big West game.
The late night game, the 9 p.m. game Pacific time, was the Big West, and it was a Big Monday, they called it.
Yep.
And it was always a great game. And Cal State Fullerton was one of those teams back then that was very, very competitive. They were just like a notch below the UNLV, Santa Barbara, New Mexico State. They were kind of the top three, and Fullerton was kind of right there. Right. So Cal State Fullerton actually has a lot of tradition and history. And they were down a little bit, and Coach Taylor was brought in to kind of revive the Titans, which I think he's doing. They're battling. You guys are battling to get in the Big West tournament, right? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, I think we're in 7th place right now. They take the top 8 out of 9 teams, and so one of us will be left out. Hopefully, it won't be the Titans, but we've got our own destiny in our hands right now with 2 home games starting tomorrow with Long Beach State in our gym at 6 p.m., and then we host UC Irvine on Thursday, and then we'll go on the road to Hawaii on Saturday, and then from there we'll figure out where we're at in terms of getting to the conference tournament the next week.
Okay, I see. So Northridge, who you just beat, they're only a game ahead of you. and yet they're in fourth place. So it's like you're one game behind them, and you're in seventh.
Yeah,
and they're a game ahead of you, and they're in fourth.
That shows you how competitive the conference is.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. No, okay. That's exactly right. And I think if you look at the conferences across the country, everybody is kind of bunched up in there where they're one game out or one game. You're in third place, but if you lose a game, you could drop all the way to ninth. And that we're in the same situation with the conference being what it is coming down the stretch here. I think most of the teams only have 2 games left, where we have 3. We had our the first week of the season, we had a bye. We only played 1 game that week, and so we've got to make up that last game here this coming week.
That's right. I'm looking at this now, and it looks like that Fullerton, Davis, and Riverside. Robert, does that sound right? Those are the 3 that have 1 extra game to play? Okay, so is that good or bad that you have an extra game to play right now?
I don't know that it is. I don't know that it's good or bad. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as we got a game to play, and I'm excited to be on the floor with our guys to prepare for it. I'm excited for the opportunity to be with this group. I'm fortunate to be with this group, quite frankly, because they have continued to battle night in and night out. I mean, I just mentioned this to our staff today, that every time we're together with them for practice or film, you would never know what our record was. You wouldn't know if we were 0-0, if we were on a 20-game winning streak or a 20-game losing streak. And so taking over a program with that type of energy and that type of foundation already laid, you have to get excited about it. And so I'm just anxious to see what we can do with these last 3 opportunities, particularly with 2 of them being on our home floor.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm looking at, you beat Santa Barbara by 2, and they're one of the really good teams.
Yeah.
You won on the road at Cal Poly, and they're good.
Yeah,
they play hard.
They do.
They really battle. They play hard.
They do.
And then you beat Northridge last night. So you've actually had, you've got some other wins too. Obviously, I'm not covering the whole schedule, but I mean, I'm picking out a few, but you've had some pretty good wins. And so with Long Beach and Irvine coming into your place, those are really big. I mean, you have a great opportunity now with them on your floor.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing that's ironic with our schedule up to this point is that everybody that we've played twice, we've split. Okay. No one has swept us just yet. And so having Long Beach State and Irvine in our place, the next 2 games, you like your chances being at home and having set the precedent of nobody sweeping us. You like I said, you like your chances. And I think it just gives our guys a different opportunity to see this team a second time around and be a little more comfortable, a little bit more familiar. And then obviously being in your home, on your home floor, it has a lot to do with that in terms of comfort and being able to sleep in your own bed and all that good stuff. And there's just no cooking like home cooking. Obviously, I know that the best, being able to come back home and have this opportunity that I have to coach in front of all of my friends and families in an area that I grew up in. And so I think there's just something that you can speak loudly about in terms of being able to be home at this point in the year, having these two teams come into your gym.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Chris.
That's a good chance for them to knock off, in their next 3 games, the 3 of the top 4 teams in the league.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you could ask for a better situation in terms of playing the best basketball against some of the better teams in our conference. Traditionally, Long Beach State is right there at the top, and then obviously Irvine is making a push here in the last couple of years, and then Gib Arnold, what he's done the last 3 years over at Hawaii, it's been nothing short of significant, just in terms of his recruiting ability. And I think he's got a next level team. He's got 5 players over there that they can be really, really hard to deal with. They were one of the teams that beat us on our home floor in a really tough game, 83-80, a high scoring game. Again, he's got 2 power forwards that I think are next level guys, along with some guards that can really shoot it. And they're a tough matchup for us. So once again, going into this part of the year, you have to be excited about the opportunity that we have to be on this track, our first year with a couple of wins under our belt and having these teams in our gym, and then going on the road to illustrious Hawaii to finish the year.
Yeah.
I like that. I used to live there.
It's a tough place.
I know a couple of their coaches on their squad.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch that game.
Was this your first year?
Yes.
Because you can see also just, looking at the results in the schedule that, with the overtime game that you guys lost, you could see there was a real turnaround point.
Yeah.
Like where you could have easily have won 4 out of your last 6
No
at
question.
the right time of the year.
No question. And I think all of our games, for the most part, with maybe the exception of 2, have been within 3 to 5 points. And obviously even the overtime game, that was a lot closer than the score indicates, just simply because we were fouling at the end of the game, trying to make the game longer and extend it and give ourselves a chance to make a run at it. But all of our games have gone right down the stretch. I mean, even the ones that we've won, we've been up, and for one reason or another, we've allowed teams to get back in the games, just like, young teams do. And we're learning how to win. We're learning how to experience success. And I think one of the most important parts of being successful is you have to get up close next to it, see what it looks like, see what it feels like, see what it tastes like. And then all of a sudden get smacked in the face and see what that feels like. And now you get a chance to understand and appreciate being in those scenarios again. If we can put ourselves in those situations, I think it gives us a great opportunity to experience some success. And that's what these guys have done, is they've taken everything that we've thrown at them and they've gone and ran with it. And they've given us their best every single day, which I feel like is one of the hardest things to get nowadays. Coaching basketball is getting their attention, getting their focus, their energy, and their effort, and then being able to put it all together and get it going in the same direction. And so far, I think these guys have bought into just that.
And how hard is it to install like a new system into a program also where, because it's not like they're, UCLA, top tier, D1 elite talent. I mean, these are players that, they're good D1 players, but they have to learn a whole new system. Was that a challenge? Like did that take like half the year basically for them to figure that?
It took some time and is taking some time.
Sure.
Because we're obviously not a finished product, but I think we're just laying the foundation. But we've been really, really fortunate that we inherited a good group of guys with some great character. I think we were able to highlight some things that we stand for, and they bought in. I think we've been able to polish off some of their good sides and stay away from some of the things that they weren't so popular for.
Yeah.
But really change our makeup and change our culture and change the way our brand was going across campus. And it seems like day after day, these guys are buying in even more. And they're playing hard for us. They're going to class and taking care of business. So it was a culture shock to them in terms of the standards. And it was rough the first month, 2 months. But once they kind of understood, the most important part is that our staff cared about them as a young man. Once they understood that, they had a different appreciation for what we were trying to do for them. Longevity wise, and they've bought in, and we have a blast. I love the guys, and I told them this 2 months ago. I said, I don't know that I particularly love you just yet, but I do feel some type of way about you.
Yeah.
Very
But now I can firmly say that there's a heartbeat in my heart for those guys, and I get excited about being around them. I get excited seeing them, and the first couple months, man, I don't know. The guy turns the corner, it's like, oh God. But now I'm excited for them, and I think they have a really bright future ahead of them, both on the floor and off the floor, because I think we're showing them what being a man is about.
I think it takes some maturity on what you're describing about your players, is that they must be pretty mature, because it takes some maturity to kind of do the things you're talking about and that you're asking them to appreciate and that you're demanding of them.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a great deal of maturity. And these guys, I thought that's the one thing that I thought they all kind of had, because they've been through some things at Cal State Fullerton the last 2-3 years. I mean, they've been through three coaching changes. They've had 3 coaches in the last 3 years, and pretty much the same group of guys for one reason or another, both good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. When we stepped foot on campus, I told them we were starting clean. I didn't ask the previous staff about them. I didn't want to know. I just wanted to learn about them through our day-to-day interactions, and I wanted them to earn our trust and respect just as much as we were trying to earn their trust and respect, just by interacting with each other every single day. And if we showed up on time, then that was something good we could expect each other to be on time. And if some guys were late, then we had to deal with it. But we wanted to change the expectations so that they could feel comfortable and gain a level of consistency, which is what I think they appreciate the most.
Yeah,
is consistency.
Scott, there was some turmoil there, Cal State Fullerton, and they had some success, and then the coaching changed a couple of times, and
sure.
And now Coach Taylor is there. Has brought a lot of stability, I think, to the program, and you did inherit a couple pretty good guys, and
Yeah.
I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about some of your guys because this hasn't been a bad season. I mean, I know this, I think 10-17 is not, that's not how you are going to define a good season in terms of, or a great season in terms of your expectations. But it hasn't been a bad season either. I mean, there's been some good wins. We've talked a little bit, Scott, about highlighted a few of those. And Coach Taylor has got a new staff there that I think do care about the players. I know a lot of the guys on his staff. And let's talk about these players. So Alex Harris, it looks like he's averaging about 15 points a game.
Yeah.
And shooting almost 40% from the floor, 67 at the line, about 35 at the three-point line. Pretty good shooter, isn't he?
Yeah, he actually is a guy that I think can score in multiple levels. When it's up and down game and it's a transition-oriented game, that's when he's at his best because he can play in the open floor. He's an explosive athlete that can shoot the three. He can utilize ball screens. He can play in open space. He's an athletic, explosive guy that fuels off of energy and effort. And he's just that for us. And again, I think you have to thank, or at least me personally, I thank the previous staff for leaving those guys around for that, just simply because if it weren't for those two guys, in particular Alex and Mikey, I don't know where we would be from a scoring standpoint. But Alex is a guy that, he suffered an injury early in the year and it's taken him some time to get back, an ankle injury, and he's found his rhythm, I would say, the last 4 or 5 games, and he's been really, really good for us.
Nice. Now he's a junior, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got him for another year. That'll be a big piece for next year, I think.
Huge piece, because once again, you talk about consistency. He's been through some of the wars with us, and he understands what we want defensively. He understands how we want to play offensively. So having that for another year and him producing at the clip that he's produced at this year, I think you have to be excited about what he can do next year.
Nice. I like that. Now, the other guy you kind of alluded to him, Mikey Williams. I know his family. I don't know Mikey real well, but I know his family because I recruited his brother, JR.
Yeah.
And I know that I guess I think he's your leading scorer. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's your best player, but I guess your best scorer is how we could define him.
Yeah.
17.5 points, 43% from the floor, 75 at the line, 37 at the three. And both Alex and Mikey, Scott, they're the leading scorers. They're also the 2 leading assist guys on the team, which is kind of unusual if you think about it. So tell me a little bit about Mikey. He's a senior, right, Coach?
Yeah, Mikey's a senior. He redshirted at Cal State Fullerton last year. He's a transfer from San Francisco, originally from this area, went to Taft High School and had an illustrious career there, and got a chance to come back home and be closer to his family, which is something that he wanted to be and be able to play in front of his family. And so we are reaping the benefit of that. But he is one of the best scorers that I've ever been around. I mean, the guy can score any kind of way you want it. He can shoot the 3 ball with great range. He can handle it. He can get to the rim and finish. He's great utilizing ball screens. And we just kind of really honestly wind him up, tell everybody else to get out of the way and watch him work. He's that talented, in my opinion. And I think his best basketball is still yet ahead of him as he pursues a professional career. I think he's got a chance to be an excellent player just because he can score the ball in multiple ways. And honestly, he does it easy. It looks effortless. I often ask him, is he playing hard? Because he very rarely sweats. But he's just that talented. He makes the game look very, very easy. And as you know, being around the types of players that you've seen and had in your career, you know what that means. And especially for a new coach, having a guy like that where a play breaks down, you can just give it to him and sit down.
Yeah. He'll go get you a basket. I saw you guys play this year. I saw your USC game. I was there at that game. And, again, Mikey kind of, he wasn't a deer in headlights in that game. I mean, he was very comfortable on the big stage.
Yeah.
And he was able to go get some baskets and just kind of like Coach said, Scott, he was able to, if the offense broke down or USC trapped or, pressed, he'd just be able to just kind of go through it and just do his deal. Yeah. And I was impressed with him. I mean, he got a legit shot to make some money.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, thankfully, I don't have to figure out where. All I have to do is help him prepare for that, and I'm anxious to do that as we've experienced some things together. But, I'm anxious to watch his career grow and watch him grow as a player. And I think once he gets himself in better shape, he will be able to play the game at a much higher clip and really be able to score anytime he wants and just continue to put it on. It reminds me a little bit of Jarrell, who played for you and played at UNLV. He's not as quick, but he can score it at the same clip and then get other people involved. And once you start helping off of him, now all of a sudden, boom, he's right back at your throat trying to score it.
Yeah. Scott, you remember Jarrell?
Yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah,
really good.
He was special. I mean, I've had probably 100 Division I players, and I don't know if I've ever had a guy as quick as Jarrell with the ball. Yeah. And he was amazing. He was, all Mountain West, and he's still a pro, and he's making a lot of money. He's making $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so that's good money. And
where's he at these days?
He is in. That's a good question. I think it's Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, you've had so many players play in many countries.
It might be Greece.
You should get a world map and put pins in them like the restaurants do.
Yeah, tell you what, it'd be a lot of pins.
Yeah. We've had maybe 35 guys play pro, and most of them overseas, of course. A couple guys drafted.
Yeah.
And he was, I know 3 years ago, Scotty was in Poland.
Wow.
And he was making $30,000 a month, and he was league MVP, and his team won the championship.
Wow! So last year we had LA City alum won the Polish basketball league MVP.
No, that was
and the Swedish
2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Joseph won the Swedish MVP, but Jarrell went from Poland to a higher country.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure. Coach Taylor knows better than I how this stuff works overseas, but certain countries, they pay more and it's more prestigious. And Ernest, that stuff better than I. But Jarrell got a big bump, and he went to a better country, a better league, and he went from 30 to 100. And then last year he was MVP, and they won whatever championship they were in.
Yeah.
So this year, in fact, it was either last year or this year, Frank Robinson was on the team with him for a short time.
Matter of fact, yeah. He was.
And then they let Frank go. That overseas stuff is pretty tough. I know they I mean, speaking of that, who played with Jarrell was Ramel Beck.
Okay.
And Ramel was in Italy. I remember when he got the contract, he went over there, and we had lunch before he left. He goes, "Coach, I got this big contract." And I said, "Ramel, now you understand that doesn't mean anything, the big contract."
No, sir.
Because if you don't play good for about a week,
they will send you on the first flight home.
Yes, sir.
They'll send you home. He says, "Well, but it's a guaranteed contract."
No such thing.
And I said, "Well, Ramel, what are you going to do? Sue him in an Italian court? Do you speak Italian?" And he says, "Well, no." I said, "Ramel, what are you going to do? Live there and wait there for 5 years for the court case to go to trial?" I said, if they send you home, they send you home.
And you're lucky if they send you home at that.
Right.
You're lucky that if they send you home on their dime, you're actually extremely lucky the way they operate over there. If you don't produce, they're going to find somebody else, and you might be passing them in the hotel or passing them in the airport. I mean, it's just that cutthroat, and it's a produce-oriented business, and it's unlike anything we know here in the States in terms of that type of productivity, and then the immediacy of that productivity.
Yeah.
Like Coach said, if you go a week without producing, forget about it.
I remember on the opposite end of that, the Jerry Rice's nephew, the one that played in Miami, I can't remember his name now, but his last name was Rice.
Yeah.
And he went overseas to China and was tearing it up over there. He's a former McDonald's All-American.
Yeah.
And then the Heat called, and they wanted him to go over there, and they took his passport.
Yeah.
And they tried to keep him there. He had to sneak out like he was escaping Iran, under horse hay and a wagon and stuff. And that's how he got out.
There's some serious horror stories over there. There's some very serious stories over there about guys trying to leave and come back and all that kind of stuff.
It's a tough deal. It's a tough
really
deal.
tough.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short commercial break, Jenny, and when we come back, we're going to have a little more Cal State Fullerton Titan basketball with head coach Dietrich Taylor, who I'm really proud of. He's done a great job, and we're going to talk a little bit about his family. We're going to talk a little bit about his plans for the Titan program. And so let's go to break, Jenny, and we'll come back in about 2 minutes. Here we go. This is Coach Miller from Time Out with Coach Miller. I'm here excited to tell you about Medicus Graphics Center located in Los Angeles, California. Medicus is the official printer and graphic designer of Time Out with Coach Miller. Medicus does a tremendous job for any printing need from big to small, whether you want to print a book or a 4-color poster or business cards. Go see my friends at Medicus Graphics Center in Los Angeles, California, located at 2030 Hyperion Avenue. Tell them Coach Miller sent you. Medicus will take care of you like they've taken care of me.
16 made a dream with this basketball. Coach Miller on the court and we going hard. Pass the rock to the paint. I give it my all or be like Chris Paul. Shoot the 3-point, y'all. Look, it's time out with Coach Miller. 14 straight conference championships. We winners. It don't stop from the bottom to the ceiling. Cause all I know is win and we winning. Full focus, we got a topic to discuss. High school, prep school, small colleges, yup. Another special guest today, listen up. It might get a little hectic from the stuff we discuss.
Hey, it's Coach Miller. You're listening to my show, Time Out with Coach Miller. I want to talk to you today about my favorite car dealership located in beautiful Hollywood, California. It's called Gem Motors. Gem Motors is located at 5639 West Sunset Boulevard. If you want a high-end automobile that's at a great price, whether it's a BMW, a Mercedes, a Jaguar, or a Porsche, go to my friends at Gem Motors. They have a beautiful indoor dealership located at 5639 West Sunset Boulevard, right across from Home Depot. Go see my friends at Gem Motors. Tell them Coach Miller sent you and get a special discount. The phone number is area code 323-962-9696. 323-962-9696.
Look, it's time out with Coach Miller. 14 straight conference championships. We winners. It don't stop from the bottom to the ceiling. Cause all I know is win and we winning. Full focus, we got a topic to discuss. High school, prep school, small colleges, yup. Another special guest today, listen up. It might get a little hectic from the stuff we discuss.
Hey, we're back. We're live. Welcome back to Skidrow Studios. It is Time Out with Coach Miller. And Scott, we really aren't on Skidrow here, are we?
Nope. Actually, the UCLA club's a little bit closer, the Wooden Award Club. But even then, we're still in the Jewelry Banker. Is this like Banker's Hill, basically?
Bunker Hill.
Oh, is that what that hill?
Bunker Hill's up the street.
Yeah.
We're still, this is the, Jewelry District?
Jewelry District,
Yeah.
maybe.
So are we Skidrow adjacent or not really even that?
Pershing Square adjacent.
Yeah, we got a little walk to Skidrow, but we do have rats. It's pretty hairy out there sometimes.
Yeah, those rats, though, since we're in the Jewelry District, Scott, I noticed that the rats are a little more classy than normal.
Yeah, well, they're polite, but
They're a little blinged out.
yeah, they got nice shades and nice bracelets and stuff, but you don't want to mess with them.
Nice. Okay.
I'd probably rather mess with the homeless people.
Okay, I got you. Hey, our phone number is 1-800-893-9562. Our number again is 1-800-893-9562. If you have a question for Coach Taylor, you can call us. If you have a high school score to report because you were at a game, you can call us, 1-800-893-9562. And we're back here, and we're going to talk a little Cal State Fullerton basketball. So this year, as I kind of classified it, it's not good, it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's sort of, building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think when you consider, Scott, that they kind of got the job, and the program was a little messy. There were some things, I'm not going to get into those, but in the basketball coaching community, Ernest, I think people really in the know there was some stuff there that was kind of messy with the previous administration, previous staff, let's call it. The administration was fine, but the staff, there were some things that were a little messy divorce, let's call it. And
It's a polite way to put it.
yeah.
And we actually do have a new administration, by the way. We have a brand new president. Dr. Garcia has been there about a little less than 2 years. And our vice provost, Dr. Eanes, she's been there maybe a little bit over a year. And then the AD, Jim Donovan, he's been there about a year now. And so we actually do have there is a new regime, if you will,
right,
with some new blood and some new direction. And so it's kind of been actually really good to jump on at this time because of the new blood and the new direction and the new support coming from what was there previously. I think we've gotten off to a really good start in some areas.
You know, that's important because, Scott, what happens at the Cal State system, and I'm a product of the Cal State system, is so many, of the people in the Cal State system, they've been there for 20, 30 years, in middle management or even some of the, the athletic director type and associate ADs. They've been there so long, and it's just, they become a little jaded, and it's always the same, and they do things the same, and they never can think outside of the box. And so what I'm hearing is you've got a new administration, and I've heard good things about Jim Donovan, your AD. Yeah. I've heard really good things about him. What's it like to work for him?
It's been awesome. It took me a little while to kind of get comfortable with being the head coach, so to speak, and I'm still not 100% comfortable with it. But, having a direct relationship with the AD and him kind of being, or me kind of being his guy, so to speak, his first big hire, it's been really, really good. He's been extremely supportive and also letting us know that, he's here for us to get done what we need to get done within reason of our budget and all of the things that we have to deal with at the Cal State level. But it's been great. I mean, it's just been exactly what you said, just kind of out with the old and in with the new, and trying to change the vision and trying to change the brand of what Cal State athletics in general is about. Our baseball team has carried the flagship for so long, and they're continuing to have a great run, being ranked in the top 5 in the country even as we speak. And some of the other sports are coming around, and I think a lot of it has to do with Jim Donovan's vision, his support, and what he thinks Cal State Fullerton athletics can be in the long run. And so we've been able to jump on board and try and kickstart what his vision is. And one thing that I thought he did awesome was, obviously, we have a new floor, and the new floor was highlighted with the John Wooden Classic, which is an event that we held on our campus, and we had the likes of Arizona State, Marquette, Creighton, San Diego State, who ended up winning it, College of Charleston, George Washington was there, and so this was an event that was held at our place, and it just kind of changed, I think, the perception of what Cal State Fullerton is and what it can be in the future, just based on that venue being on ESPN for 3 nights of Thanksgiving. And that was awesome for us to be able to do that. And it's never been done before. And so with that type of stuff coming forward, you have to be excited about what's to come and the support that we think we can get.
I saw some of those games, Scott, and it was great for Cal State Fullerton. It was great PR. I mean, you were on national TV 3 nights in a row. Yeah. You were associated directly with the John Wooden Award and the John Wooden Classic, which is, when you put John Wooden in the name, Scott and I feel a certain way about that, probably pretty strongly. And we think that that's great association. And
probably a lot of people in California feel that way.
No question.
Yeah, I would agree, Scott, but I think maybe perhaps they may not know all the ins and outs like you do. Scott was the sports editor of the Daily Bruin.
Oh, wow.
When he went there. And so obviously, he's very, very connected with UCLA and with Coach Wooden and that legacy.
But I think just the name Wooden, I mean, in college basketball, that's the name that sells. That's the name that lasts. That's the reason that there's a John Wooden Award and not like a Coach Krzyzewski Award or like a Dean Smith Award. I mean, John Wooden, he's the one that kind of set that standard, so to have an association with that and be on ESPN, I mean, for 3 days, that's people in Rhode Island and Vermont and Kentucky that would never even know Fullerton existed. And now they see it because they're going to pay attention to that particular tournament.
No question. I think, Coach, you'll agree with me on this. Athletics is really kind of like, I equate it to the front porch.
Yeah.
Okay. And the academics and the university is the house. And so I think what you're doing is you're giving a real, and I think this is really important. Frankly, this is why I think they hired you, was because they felt like you were a guy who could stand up to the world, to the media, and advertise what's positive about Cal State Fullerton, because there were other people that were applying for that job. Yeah. And I think that when someone saw the pool of candidates, this was last spring, Scott, nobody would have said, hey, that's the favorite. They're going to hire, Dietrich Taylor. He's the favorite. He's going to be the guy who gets this job. And he got the job. And I think the reason why he got the job was he was able to articulate a vision and what he could do for the program and how that program would in turn highlight the university. And I think that's what athletics is and what it should be. It's the front porch to the house. And so, you want to have a good impression. And I think that's what happened with that event. And your gym floor looks great.
Thanks.
By the way.
It does. It does. It's loud, rather loud to me, but I like it. I mean, it still has the same dimensions, fortunately, as anybody else's courts. The rims are still 10 feet tall.
Yep.
And so we still play with the same, dimensions. But it's exactly what you said. It's a great conversation piece, which leads to some of the things that are going on academically on our campus and in our community that people can come, or young kids can come and take advantage of to set themselves up throughout the rest of their life based on a 4 to 5 year experience on our campus and in our community. And I think it's an unbelievable opportunity for people that come to Cal State Fullerton and experience what we have there in Orange County, nestled into, everything else that we have. I mean, we're 25 minutes from Staples Center. We're 20 minutes from Newport Beach. We're 40 minutes from Santa Monica Pier, and all of the different things that you can have access
Hour
to.
from San Diego.
Exactly. I mean, if you want to go to the beach, you're 20 minutes. You want to go to the snow, you're 2 hours from Big Bear. So you can do so many different things.
Right.
But also, you can also not leave campus and have one heck of an experience.
Sure.
And set yourself up. What I think is the best part about what we do as coaches is try and identify guys that may need some help, polishing off some of their skills to help them be successful citizens in life. And that's what this whole deal is about. And anytime you have a chance to do that, you have to, once again, stand at attention and respect it and be excited about it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think Cal State Fullerton, Chris, it's kind of a unique campus. And first of all, to me, it's in Orange County.
Yeah.
But it's not deep in Orange County. And so what Coach is saying, it actually is the prime location. It's actually
because it's not too far from Long Beach.
Right.
It's close enough to LA County, so it's not down South Long Beach going towards San Diego. It's more so like a lot of guys that you recruit, they would go there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go check out a game and go, just see what.
I mean, it's
what
so
their program is
hard.
about.
It's so hard to go to a game at UC Irvine if you live up in LA because of the traffic, and it's not that hard to go to a game at Cal State Fullerton. and like Coach says, what a prime location, because let's forget about athletics for a minute. If you're a student at Cal State Fullerton, you can go and experience Big Bear, like Coach said. You can go experience Venice Beach. It's easy. You can go experience the best of Southern California, and I'm not sure you can do that from very many other Cal States. I mean, the Cal State Fullerton may be the only one that really offers that kind of location. Now, Coach, is there about, I'm kind of on the student side here for a minute. It's about 45,000 students, right?
We're just under, I think we're just under 40.
Just under 40.
Just under 40.
Okay.
It's a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring it up. And my number was a little bit off, but I was kind of close there, is that it's a large university that services a lot of people, a lot of students. And I think it's a real honor if you're playing basketball at Cal State Fullerton. You're one of 12 guys representing almost 40,000 other students.
No question. And I think it's one of the best honors because there's a lot to carry. With that, because there's so many different alternatives and so many different things you can represent at Cal State Fullerton based on our student population. I mean, there's a little bit of everything there, and I think it's a really small microcosm of what the real world is about. You have all your different religions and all your different creeds and different things that go into what makes up our world, and you get a chance to experience that on a daily basis. And I think it's an excellent experience for our guys that they get a chance to not only do that, but then go out and represent that experience on a national stage.
Makes sense. Chris, you got something?
Now, to go off of what Coach said earlier, you've been associate head coach at Arizona State, assistant coach at a couple of the different places. What's your biggest transformation going from that second seat to that first seat to, now being a head coach of your own program?
Yeah, it's, I think there's two things that are three things really that typify the transition. I think the first thing is all of your suggestions now become answers. You no longer can just say, well, I think we should do this and walk out the room. Well, I think we should do this and walk out the room. All of that stuff becomes the deal. And so you have to, make sure you're not just thinking one-sided. You have to think from a holistic standpoint. And I think that's one of the best things that I was able to attach myself to being with Herb Sendek the last 7 years was you couldn't just walk in his office and just say something and walk out.
Right.
He would jam you up. He wanted to know why you think that. Why should we do that? How are we going to do that? And when are we going to do that? And you had to come in and have all of those answers right then and there, or he'd tell you to get lost.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best things about being with Herb Sendek. But I think the other two things that will kind of resonate with the listeners maybe is just there's a different level of survival. The survival mode is just so different. When I was an assistant at Loyola Marymount, I was a wide-eyed assistant trying to figure out, okay, which way is up?
Right.
Which way is right, east, west, and just literally trying to survive in that world. And then I go to, a different level. And then the level of survival is so different. And I think if you attach survival or along with survival, I think the pace at which you have to operate is 100% different. Like you have to be on point all the time and involved in everything. You don't just get to section off one piece of the pie.
Right.
You have to represent and be involved in all of the pie to make it represent you and what you want your legacy to be and what you stand for and what you want your program to be built on. And so I think those three things are the things to me that have jumped off the page early in my head coaching career that make a big difference. And it's so funny when I hear people reference me as, the head coach, I'm trying to figure out who are they talking to? When we're with our staff and we had a meeting talking about some video stuff and the guys kept saying, well, what does coach want? And what does coach think? And I'm like, well, who is coach? Who are you guys talking about? Like, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
They were like, you dummy, it's you. You're the coach. And so it takes a little while to kind of get used to that. And honestly, even up to this point, the only time I feel like a head coach is when we're on the bus and I'm sitting in that front seat. And the only reason why that's the case is because I've made so much fun of the coaches that I've worked for sitting behind them. Man, I'm never going to be like that when I sit up there and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I am that guy that I said I wasn't going to be.
Exactly.
I'm sitting up there sweating my butt off, trying to figure out what are we going to run? Who's the refs? All these things are going through your mind. And it's just like, it's a gift and a curse. It's one of the most fascinating experiences that you get to undertake because you dream about this stuff and you have all these visions. And now all of a sudden it's time to bring it all to fruition. And it's like, okay, let's really see what you're made of. And so you got a chance to do it all.
I think it's funny that you said that because, like when you have kids, you never say you're going to be like your parent. You end up being like your parent. And it's funny that you said that because when I started my coaching career, when I started coaching high school in Hawaii, I swore I would never be like that guy across from me.
Good luck.
And then but a lot of stuff that he taught me rubbed off, and that's who I became. And I would just I would talk to another former teammate of mine, and we were talking. I'm just like Coach Miller. I'm just like him because we do this and we do this. And are you yelling at? Yeah. I'm yelling at him too.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah,
Chris.
you're just like him.
Chris, it's like those saying you're a product of the stock you come from.
Right.
So, there you go.
Right.
And now I can publicly say that, Coach Miller used to think I was coming to his gym to recruit his players. I was coming in to steal all this stuff. I'd go out in the car and sit for an hour and just write down everything that I learned the last 2 hours or 3 hours after being with them and watching his guys work out. And, Ernest hit the nail on the head. It's what you come from, and it's good stock. And fortunately for me, personally, I've been around and exposed to some of what I would consider some of the best stock out there. Obviously, starting with my dad. Now, my dad I don't think my dad was the best X and O guy, but I tell you what, he got his guys to play as hard as anybody that I've been around. And I think the reason why was just simply because he cared about his guys, and they knew that if they needed something, wanted something, they could get it from him. And in return, they gave him everything he asked for on the floor. And so
that's right.
Being exposed to that from a very early onset, I think has kind of molded me as a man, obviously, and as a coach and a mentor and a friend and all of the things that a coach encompasses nowadays. Is I get to embody those things. And Coach Miller's influence, all the way from me being able to shoot as a sophomore in high school when I met the shot doctor. Remember that?
Yes.
The shot doctor, baby.
I remember that well.
He came to my high school and literally taught me how to shoot as a sophomore in high school.
The shot doctor?
Just those experiences, like Chris mentioned.
That's what I used to be called, the shot doctor.
That was his license plate on his.
Sir. The convertible.
Oh yeah.
Convertible. So it said shot doctor. It said shot doc on my old convertible.
And I still get people that ask me today, "Oh, you're doing a show with Coach Miller? Does he still have that Camaro, the red Camaro with shot doctor on the back?" No, I don't think he still has that, but yeah, they remember.
It's a red Porsche now.
Okay.
Get it right.
Does it have the license on there?
No, it doesn't have the shot doc plate anymore, but it's still a red Porsche convertible.
Oh, I've seen that.
So, you've seen the red Porsche convertible. In fact, you've ridden in it. You've ridden in it.
Haven't driven it. Don't want to.
Don't want to.
Don't want to. Like riding in it.
I tell you what. I'm glad, Chris, that you kind of segued this into what I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to bring up Coach Ed Taylor, who's Dietrich's father, and a great man. And I'm going to give him a little more credit coaching wise than Dietrich. I'm going to tell you why. Because Coach Ed Taylor, there's two Coach Taylors now, so I don't want to confuse our listening audience. But Coach Ed Taylor, he may not have been like, he's an X and O guy, like a traditional guy.
Yeah.
But he was a wise guy.
Where did he coach at?
Pomona High School.
Okay.
And Coach Taylor here, young Coach Taylor, played at Pomona High. That's when I first met him. And his dad met me somewhere and brought me in to do some shooting stuff in the summer. And like Coach Taylor's saying, and I used to go down there and work with them for a couple of days here and there, and I had a lot of fun. And Pomona High, and he had a good run now.
Yeah, he did.
He had a good run. He was successful now.
Very successful. And I think there's only one Coach Taylor, and that's my dad. I'm trying to aspire to be that. And if I can be half the coach and half the man that he is, then I'll feel good about what I've accomplished in my life. But he's had a great run in the community. I mean, he's coached at multiple institutions, both on the girls and the guys side. At Colony High School, he's won a CIF title there. At Diamond Ranch, he's won a couple, 3 or 4 CIF titles. At Pomona High, he ran off a couple, 3 or 4. And so the guy is synonymous with success. So I got some rather big shoes to fill. Right. And let me tell you what, he tells me about it every chance he gets. He lets me know, hey, you got to bring it. You got to get it going.
And he's a great man. And I ran into him at an Arizona State game a couple years ago when I came to see you.
That's right.
And this might have been, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think, maybe
it was
maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I ran into him in an Arizona State game, and he was always so proud of you, and to see how you've grown as a coach and that you got into this profession, and I know he's super proud of you now to see you, and he gets to go to the games,
and
like you said.
There. He's there, and the game doesn't start for me until I see my pop.
Yeah.
When I see my pop, then okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Yeah, well, he's a great man, and I'll tell you what, he's had a lot of success. Now, what I want to do is I want to take a short break, and then we come back with one more short segment with Coach Taylor. And there are more than one Coach Taylor now, Scott. I mean, now I think when you become a head Division I coach, you officially get to call yourself coach. And his dad is the first Coach Taylor, but we have the second Coach Taylor. So, Jenny, let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have a little more Cal State Flirts, and I want to bring your assistant, Coach Robert Spence, into studio, and I want to put him on the air and mic him up too for a few minutes. So let's go to break, and we'll be right back. Hey, this is Coach Miller. I'm excited to tell you about my new instructional videos that are on DVDs, produced and distributed by Scoreboard Media out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Scoreboard Media is a great outfit. They also publish books on recruiting and basketball. But what I want to tell you about is to make sure you get a chance to see my post-play DVDs. If you want to become a better post player, score more in the post, and be more effective for your team, why not check out my DVDs? These great instructional videos will really help improve your game. Scoreboard Media is the place to get them at.
Welcome to the 500 Club. We the best, my whole team tough. Close to 100 Division Ones I built up. Dedication and hard work. Step up to the court, I'm like, who ready to lose first? 14 times champs every year earned. Feet to the court, let me get in my zone. Hands grip to the ball, let me get in control. Non-stop, can't quit, that's a winner's quote. I'ma just keep doing me, hear the crowd as they cheer. 18 out of 19, coach of the year. Time out with Coach Miller, listen clear. 2 times a week, listen to me on the ear. Over 30 wins, it was for 4 straight years. First to win state my high school and college career. Over 30 wins, it was for 4 straight years. First to win state my high school and college career.
This is Coach Miller from Time Out with Coach Miller. I'm here excited to tell you about Medicus Graphics Center located in Los Angeles, California. Medicus is the official printer and graphic designer of Time Out with Coach Miller. Medicus does a tremendous job for any printing need from big to small, whether you want to print a book or a 4-color poster or business cards. Go see my friends at Medicus Graphics Center in Los Angeles, California, located at 2030 Hyperion Avenue. Tell them Coach Miller sent you. Medicus will take care of you like they've taken care of me.
State champs, high school and JC. He was the first coach to do it in California history. Coach Miller, he can beat any team. Got shooters on the court and dunkers dunk everything. He got to win, so the plan is defeat. Been coaching on the court before he turned 18. From 08 going down to 93, he was the conference champs, home of the LACC. Youngest coach to beat 500 teams, 43. Everybody can't do it like he. A coach is something he was destined to be. Now we got a radio show to discuss some things, talking informative conversations. Listen to the real. Tuesday and Friday at night from 10 to 12. A live show, tune in and listen well. Special guests and take audience calls as well.
Hey, we're back. We're live. We're excited to be here. It's Time Out with Coach Miller. I saw a great game tonight. I know Chris was at a game, and Ernest, we're going to talk a little high school basketball here after this last segment with Cal State Fullerton. So we're excited. We've got, Coach Taylor, who is the head coach. I like saying that. The head coach at Cal State Fullerton.
Gee.
I've known young Coach Taylor since he was a young man, since he was about 15 or 16.
How about that?
When I first started working with him and teaching him how to shoot the ball better. And he was a
shot doctor.
He was a pretty good, you know what? He was a pretty good shooter now. I don't want people to sleep and think, they look at him now and he's got a few pounds on him that he didn't used to have. And they might think that this guy couldn't play. He could play a little bit now. He could play a little bit. I recruited him hard to come to LA City College. I recruited him hard.
Sure did.
And, I went after him hard, and I couldn't quite get it done. And he went to Kings River.
The Rock, baby.
He went to Kings River Junior College up in Central California, and he had a pretty good career. Went to UC Davis.
Yeah.
And got a good degree there. Played for good coach, played for Coach Williams, right?
Bob Williams.
And now you're coaching against him.
That's a heck of an experience, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Really unbelievable. We got to win against him at our place our first time we played. And honestly, it was a bittersweet deal.
Yeah.
Because they're poised to, make a run at this thing. And we jump up and snag them. But, Shucks, I'll tell you what, I'd rather be on the end of the stick that we were on than the one that he was on.
Yeah, no question. And he's a very, very good coach. He's a very, very, very good basketball coach. And you played at UC Davis, and you had a good run there. and then you became a coach, and you got into coaching. You started at UC Davis.
Yeah.
You went to Loyola Marymount, I believe.
Yep.
That was next.
Yep.
And you got kind of back to LA, and you got into Division I.
Yeah.
That was that move.
Yeah.
And then Portland State.
Portland State for 2 years.
And Portland State was good for Coach Taylor because he became the #1 assistant.
Yeah.
And that's why that Portland State was a good move, I think.
Yeah.
And it got you, an experience there that was pretty positive, and you guys won a little bit, and then University of Nevada, Reno.
Yes, sir.
And that
Mark
was
Fox.
that was a short trip there. I think it was about a year.
It's 2 years.
2 years. 2 years. And then Arizona State.
Yep, Arizona State for 7. So we hit it and quit it.
Yeah. I mean, the Arizona State thing was you were in there for the long run there.
Yeah, I thought that we would be there for a while. I mean, it's a heck of a place. It's hard to beat. It's unbelievable in terms of living, resource-wise. I mean, obviously, there's no place like Southern California. This is #1. But I would say right behind it is Arizona and being in Phoenix and Tempe and that opportunity and what it represents. I mean, we were able to do some good things there and experience a lot of great learning opportunity. And then I got a chance to meet the guy you're going to introduce here shortly, who's on our staff with us, who makes my world a ton easier.
Right.
As we matriculate through this process here, but we were able to join forces there, and now he's on board with us and helping us do it out here.
Yeah, Coach Robert Spence. Welcome, Coach Spence. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Okay. Do we have his mic mic'd up, Jenny? Help me out here. We good? Okay. There we go. Go ahead, Coach.
Awesome. There we go. It's good to be here.
Sounds better.
Okay. Sounds a lot better. So, Coach Robert Spence, and you were 6 years at Arizona State, and Dietrich Taylor was there for 7. So you came in right after him.
Yes, sir.
And so tell us a little bit about your background before Arizona State.
I'm originally from North Carolina. I played basketball at Guilford College in Greensboro, where World Be Free and ML Carr went to school. After that, upon graduation, I moved to upstate New York, where I coached at a prep school, Milford Academy.
Right.
Worked as the head coach there, and was fortunate to go down and work for Butch Estes at Miami-Dade College in Miami, Florida. From there, I went to Arkansas, and then I met Coach Taylor out on the road recruiting, and went to Arizona State as started off as the video coordinator, and then moved up to the director of basketball operations.
That's right. Coach Taylor kind of recruited you to Arizona State in a way, didn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. That's his claim to fame.
Yeah. So Coach Taylor, I mean, he had his eye on you long ago as a guy who was really talented as a coach, and he kind of was instrumental in bringing you in, to become a Sun Devil, right?
Yes, sir. And I've been very blessed to have Coach Taylor as my mentor. He helped me get into the game of basketball, working at Arizona State under Coach Sendek. It was a phenomenal experience for me. I learned a lot from Coach and Coach Sendek, so it was a great experience for me.
Yeah, Coach Sendek's a really, really good coach. I mean, he's an excellent X&O guy. We were talking about Coach Bob Williams at UC Santa Barbara, and Coach Sendek is he knows how to control the game. And he can kind of slice and dice you a little bit. If you're not well prepared, he's going to cut you up pretty good. I've always stayed in touch with you, as you know, throughout your career. And even though you didn't come and play for me at LA City College, I always stayed in touch with you. And we got last year when I was coaching at LA Prep, LA College Prep, Scott, we went to Arizona State game when you guys beat UCLA.
Yeah.
You pounded them.
Yeah.
Actually.
Beat them up pretty good.
You beat them up pretty good. And when we went there, we brought our whole team, Scott.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I went to Northridge, man.
Oh, that's right.
That was an off year.
Ill.
Yeah.
We got rid of Howland.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they beat your your guys last night, your Matadors. But that's I gotta say, I'm got to root for my guy because I recruited him. I coached him in high school as a shooting coach. I recruited him out of high school.
Doctor.
And
hey, Coach Miller, that was the game of the GQ coaches. It was like who was dressed better,
last night?
Taylor or Reggie Theus.
Yeah,
well, I know who won that battle, Coach Theus. Coach Theus still got all his hair, so he definitely won that battle. I'm coming up short in that area.
Well, you know what? Coach Dietrich Taylor's got some nice suits now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not sleep. Let's not sleep.
That's why I said the best dressed suit.
Would you agree with that, Robert? Would you? Coach Taylor's got some nice suits, right?
No question. No question. He loves to shop.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. He's got a lot of style, but he's also got a lot of substance. And I just want to talk a little bit about the future direction of the Cal State Fullerton program, where you want to see that go, because again, you've got a lot of substance to you. I think that comes from your dad,
Definitely,
and
my mama.
Your mama too, but your dad, he was a guy who instilled a lot of that in you.
Definitely.
Let's just kind of hear about maybe your vision for the Cal State Fullerton men's basketball program. If you can give us a brief idea of your vision of that.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is we want to take advantage of our environment, our location, and try and attract players from all over the world. We were very fortunate to be able to get 2 international kids this year. And in our incoming class, we've got 2 high school kids from the area, 2 junior college transfers, and then 2 transfers from Division I schools. And so having said that, I think they're attracted to the area and what all it brings and what the possibilities are of putting your name on a program. And so we want to brand ourselves as an up-tempo type program filled with high character guys that understand the significance of doing all the little things right, doing all the little things, paying attention to detail, going to class, taking care of business, because there's something synonymous with guys that are taking care of business in the classroom. They always tend to have success on the floor. And so that's kind of our model is guys that go to class and take care of business and, some high-level players. And I think if we can continue to get off the board here with recruiting and recruit those kind of guys, our style of play will be up-tempo, and we'd like to get to a point where we can press a little bit and try and be a little bit different in our conference, because our conference is a coach's conference, and it's not easy. And so if we can be just a little bit different with the types of players that we bring in with size and athleticism and create an up-tempo and make you uncomfortable, I think that helps as we move forward with Cal State Fullerton and the brand of what we're trying to build.
Right. I like that. I like, Scott, the vision. The vision is, what I'm hearing is, up-tempo with high-character guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. Up-tempo is fun. And but you've got to have good players to play up tempo. A lot of people don't understand that. Is that, I love coaches that go into a place and we're going to run and we're going to be the running rebels, or we're going to do this and that. And you know what? If you don't have really, really good players, it's hard to play fast.
No question.
Yeah. Okay.
No
and so
just a lot of fast turnovers.
Yeah. Good point. Hey, let me ask Coach Robert Spence this question. Now, how would you characterize the Arizona State program and Coach Sendek's style in terms of that question? Up tempo? Is it up tempo? Is it slow tempo? Is it medium? Where would you classify that at?
I think Coach allows the guys to play as fast as they can play under control.
Okay.
So if we can play fast, so we can get the ball out of the net and go get the ball down the court, he would allow you to play as fast as you can play, as long as you can make smart decisions. Whenever you get into not making the best decisions, then he pulls you back, and you got to get into us that we can't play not smart basketball.
Gotcha. That's really a good point. So do you see? And this is because you're kind of the guy who's been able to see both, Coach Sendek and Coach Taylor. Do you see your team this year that you're part of playing that way, or do you see you guys playing a little faster or a little slower than what you guys were doing at Arizona State?
I think something Coach Taylor emphasizes is pace. Everything we do from practice to getting to the office, how we work, how we do things, we talk about pace all the time. So we like to work at a pace that makes our guys move and think and do things as quick and as fast twitch as possible. Okay. Coach Sendek, like I said, he allows you to play as fast as you can play. With Jahi Carson, he's a dynamic point guard who can get the ball out of the net, get the ball down the court quick. With Derek Glasser, he wasn't quite as fast, but he was smart. He could advance the ball up the court, so you played fast a different way that with Derek at the head.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. So you see Coach Taylor right now, you guys are playing a little faster than what Coach Sendek was playing, let's say, normally at Arizona State.
Yeah. like Coach gives the guys the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. So we can play defense, get stops, and get the ball down the court. He allows them to go and create and just be free, and they have that confidence in themselves to go and make a play. So it allows them to play the game without thinking. If we don't go into that, we flow into a secondary set, and we have a couple actions we run out of our secondary offense.
Okay, good. That's good info. So I really like the direction, Scott, that Coach Taylor's taken this Cal State Fullerton program. I think he was hired, like I said, to come in and kind of give it a good direction and give it a vision. I think it needed a vision. I think it represents a lot more than just the basketball team. I think there's no football at the school, and although there was the concept that was brought up earlier of Cal State Fullerton baseball being ranked so high nationally, the reality is that baseball is a whole different animal than basketball.
No question.
Is that Cal State Fullerton in baseball, they may not even have their players on full scholarships. They probably don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known a lot of baseball coaches in the Cal State system, and it's like there's so many baseball players here, that can play.
Yeah.
They can't all go to UCLA and USC.
Yeah.
And even those schools don't offer full scholarships in baseball.
And there's only so many schools that can play full-time, year-round baseball.
Right. So it's a little bit misleading. I mean, it's great that Cal State Fullerton is so successful in baseball and has been, but basketball could really be more of a, like that front porch I was talking about to the university, and be a little bit more national and international in terms of scope than baseball, because let's be honest,
It's a true marquee sport.
Yeah,
there's a reason they call football and basketball revenue sports.
Yeah.
And everything else is called Olympic sport. Well, that's what we call it at UCLA anyway.
Yeah.
Olympic champion sports and then revenue sports.
Yeah. And there's only 2 revenue sports, football and basketball.
Yep.
So without football
And lacrosse.
in
certain parts of the country.
Okay, I got you. Well, Coach Spence may know something about lacrosse, because I think lacrosse is kind of big down in North Carolina, isn't it?
It's picking up a little bit of steam down there. I'm not a big lacrosse guy. Not a big lacrosse guy.
Okay, I got you. So anyway, Coach Taylor, you hired Coach Spence right away. I think you recruited him to Arizona State.
I did.
And then you recruited him to Cal State Fullerton.
I did, actually. I think it's something that you taught me a long time ago in terms of recruiting. You got to recruit good people. You got to surround yourself with good people. And I'm very fortunate to not only have him, who's here with me, but we have John Smith, who's a longtime junior college coach, and you guys have had some great battles. But he's an unbelievable mentor for myself and an unbelievable mentor for our program as a sitting head coach. To lure him away from his perch at Riverside Community College, I think was probably one of our best recruiting moves that we've made. And then to get a guy like Danny Sprinkle, who's got 10 years in our conference, and he's done everything from finish last to first and everything in between. His experience is invaluable. And so we've been really, really fortunate to be able to piece together what I think is one of the better staffs that I've been around, and very, very fortunate to be a part of. And so starting with Coach Spence, he was the first hire because he sat next to me for the last 6 years. And so he kind of knew a lot of the things that we needed to get done right off the bat. And I didn't have to, say anything. I just kind of said, hey, here's your desk, here's a phone, let's roll.
Get started,
and, he jumped off the page with us, and it's been unbelievable in terms of just seeing a vision come together and slowly matriculate and come into one big picture. And we still have a long way to go. Still got a lot of things to get done, but I like where we're heading. I like what we're stand for and what we're trying to build and what we're trying to emulate to give our kids a chance to have some success.
Yeah, I do too. And you really did put together a really good staff. And you kind of covered all the bases. That was the thing, Scott, about, I think Coach Taylor learned that from his dad, because like I said, his dad really knew how to build something.
Yeah.
And, when you hire Coach Spence and you've got someone who knows what you want, just understands it, you don't even have to tell him.
Yeah.
And then you get a guy who's an older guy, John Smith. I have coached against him a long time, and
he was Riverside.
Riverside, yeah. He beat me once.
San Bernardino.
I knew that was coming out.
San Bernardino and Riverside. He beat me once.
I knew that was coming out.
Yeah, and so and a really good X and O guy. I think what Coach Smith actually, I'm gonna say what he is he knows how to run a program.
Yeah.
More than even really being an X and O guy. Coach Spence may be actually, your X and O guy. I don't know the roles,
Sure.
but Coach Smith knows how to run a program because of his experience, and he was in junior college a long time. And then Danny Sprinkle, who I want to give him a shout out to, because like Coach Taylor said, a really good guy, really good coach. Coach Sprinks, as we call him.
It's the Sprink man.
He's been in this league for a long time, and he knows the league. He knows the landmines. He knows the road trips. He knows what hotel to stay in or what hotel not to stay in.
Yes, exactly.
He knows, what time you should leave for a game to go play at a certain place, because he's done it for 10 years. Yeah. And that's invaluable. You don't want to, just walk in and take 2 years to learn, where do I stay at Cal Poly SLO and Santa Barbara? I mean, you don't need to learn that. He can do it for you.
No question.
So I think it's a really, really strong staff, and I'm looking for – the thing I'm going to close out with, Scott, on the Big West is this, is you can go from worst to first in a year.
Easy.
You can. And what you're seeing is the two new hires from last year was Cal State Northridge, your alma mater, Ernest, and Cal State Fullerton. And I think you're going to see both of those teams battling at the very top of the league next year. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, Cal State Northridge has guys sitting out.
Yeah.
Big East transfers sitting out.
Yes,
These
sir.
guys here at Cal State Fullerton have some really, really good recruits that are coming in. Do you want the guys you signed? You can talk about.
Yeah.
Let's just say who you signed.
We saw one of them in league, Ron Freeman.
Unfortunately, it's Sarah.
Sarah High School.
Yeah. So Ron Freeman is a local high school kid, and I'll tell you what Ron did, and he had no idea what I said to him when once he committed and he made it public. He basically legitimized Cal State Fullerton in the city once again. He gave it a name because he's such a great kid and he's such a phenomenal athlete and he plays the game at a high clip, and he basically gave Cal State Fullerton a voice in the city once again.
Right.
And then we got another kid by the name of Jamar Coe, who's a 6'7" kid out of Los Osos, who's a big body kid, but he handles it, he shoots it. He's very skilled. If he can figure out how to get in shape, I'll tell you, I think we might have snuck one there with him.
Okay.
And then we've got another kid by the name of Lanero Johnson out of Central Arizona Community College. He's originally from Atlanta. He's got Division I experience, played a year, redshirted a year. Now he's playing at a junior college, and he'll be with us for 2.
Now, where did he play Division I?
Tennessee Tech.
Gotcha.
Tennessee Tech. He's originally from Atlanta, played with a multitude of high school kids that have gone on and played either at Kentucky, and one or two kids are playing in the NBA. So he comes from a great deal of success.
Well, and Coach Spence, who's from the South, and I've recruited a lot in the South. It's good to have a Southern kid.
No question.
Sir. That's good. It's good to have that because you have a little gritty South toughness, and you've got some guys, they kind of look at it a little different than California kids.
No question.
Right?
It's not as much sunshine in North Carolina as it is out here.
That's right. That's right. And who's the other JC guy that you signed?
His name is Malcolm Henderson. He's a 6'8", 260-pound kid originally from Montreal, but he goes to Missouri State, Western Plains.
Okay.
Hard to call someone a kid when they're 6'8" and 260
pounds. Well, trust me, I say that from afar. I never really get that close to him when I call him that, but he is a huge human being.
That's a big shadow.
The thing that I love about Malcolm is he came on his visit and he said, "Coach, I'm a 5. I'm a big man, and that's what I am, and that's what I'm going to be for you."
Yeah.
And that was like music to my ears because very rarely nowadays you hear a guy say he's a big man.
Yeah.
And that's all he wants to be.
These guys, Coach Spence, nowadays, these young guys, they're 6'10", 6'11", they want to be a 3-man. Yeah. And if you tell them to post up, they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah,
because they've never done it.
They all want to challenge me to a horse competition.
Yeah, right.
So I'm the horse champion of Cal State Fullerton right now.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got those kids, and then we've obviously got 2 kids sitting out. One kid played in the Big East, Moses Morgan, who spent 3 years at DePaul, and he's sitting out for us. He'll be eligible next year. And then we've got another kid by the name of Jordan Mason, who's originally from Texas, played his first year at Colorado State, and he's sitting out for us this year, and he'll be eligible next year. So we will have a total of 6 new faces running around, along with some of the other guys that we have. Alex Harris that we mentioned already. We signed 2 freshmen this year. Sheldon Blackwell, who's starting for us at the point guard spot. Joe Boyd from Arizona. So there'll be some new faces in our program that I think will give us a chance to continue to get better and continue to compete for a Big West Conference championship, which is what this whole deal is about. Is winning. Make no mistake about it.
You gotta win. There's no question. Now, and you're not fully done recruiting. You still kind of got your eyes on a few.
No
guys,
such thing. No such thing as being done recruiting. We're always looking around to see what we can get involved with. And there's plenty of talent here in Southern California that we love to continue to attract. And we're beating the bushes and trying to be friendly with everybody and develop a relationship with everybody so that they know that Cal State Fullerton can be a legitimate option for you to come and have an unbelievable experience, play in the NCAA tournament, win a Big West Conference championship multiple times, and have an unbelievable career.
And have a great experience and get a good education. Yeah. Cal State Fullerton's underrated educationally. It's underrated. I think Coach, Ernest, Scott, Chris, these guys will tell you that the academic standards at Cal State Fullerton is pretty high. It's not like
all the Cal States.
But you can't just, people have this misnomer like, you just barely got through high school and you can go to any Cal State.
No way.
Way
too competitive.
Not true.
Especially with the prices.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cheap that, for a lot of people, especially like first generation college families, they want their kids in college and they might not be able to afford a private tuition price. So they're making sure, like for UCLA, I know the average GPA is like a 4.2 something. It's weighted. Yeah. And pretty much to get into the Cal States, it's not far behind that.
3.8.
Yeah. That's an A average.
It's no easy task.
And what's do you know what maybe you do, maybe you don't, what's the average SAT score for your students at Cal State Fullerton?
For our students, I think it's I want to say it's right around 11 or 1,200.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
It's It's very high. It's actually it's a lot higher than I assumed before I took the job.
Yeah,
and we quickly found out that it's a little bit different than what the perception is.
And if you're coming from out of state, it's even harder.
Yeah.
And so with that said, do you have any problem with getting kids in, getting them eligible, or?
We have to recruit from a different pool of guys, depending on how good you are. No, I'm just kidding. No, we have to do some jockeying for some different guys and get some exceptions, and they've been good in terms of working with us. And some guys need a little more support than other guys, and so we are able to aid those guys immediately as soon as they step foot on campus. If they're an at-risk student, but we all are. We all were. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how I got into UC Davis and not alone got out of there with a degree. And so, we all have our
There's no question that's true. But I think that Cal State Fullerton is definitely on the uptick here, and I think it's going to be a really successful program under Coach Taylor's leadership. I'm pretty certain, I'm going to go out on a limb, Ernest, that next year you're going to see Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Northridge, the two new hires, battling at the top of the conference next season. I don't think it's going to be like.
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like it's a 5-year rebuilding plan. I think it's going to be like we're battling right now. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the league next year, but I'm saying they're going to be battling at the top of the league, and you're going to start to see this little shift, this paradigm shift from the UC Santa Barbara, Long Beach State, the Cal State Fullerton, the Cal State Northridge is going to be like this paradigm right here. Boom. Yeah. And you're going to see, and they're getting this right here on camera. Coach Spencer getting this right here. You can go on and get this on YouTube. It's going to be like this right here.
So I'm thinking,
hoping you make the tournament to hosting a game in the tournament.
That'd be awesome.
I'm guessing road trip next year to the Honda Center.
Come on down.
Yeah. Nice.
Anytime. Come on down.
Well, listen, it's been awesome having you guys on the show. It's really a pleasure to meet Coach Spence and your right hand man over here.
My guy.
I'm honored to meet him and that you brought him down to our show. And of course, I always have great love for you and your family. And give my best to your dad.
I will.
Reverend Coach Ed Taylor. You guys didn't know that. His dad is not only a coach, he's a reverend.
He got a lot going on.
He's a great man. So I wanna wish you guys well with is it Long Beach State tomorrow?
Yes, Long Beach State, 6:00, historic Titan Gym.
At home.
at home.
Okay, so 6 o'clock, Chris.
I'm guessing that game is going to be on TV, so yeah, we're going to have to check that out.
Okay, and I'm guessing it might be a nice crowd in there. So
they say we got something like a little bit of a rivalry against those guys over there. So we'll see what the cards hold tomorrow.
I might have to make it out tomorrow. My wife's from, that's why I stopped by, that day. My wife's from Fullerton. She went to Sunny Hills High School.
That's right.
And her parents live out there, so her brother's in town, so we may have to go by there.
Hey, it sounds like an excuse to me. Let's go, honey. Let me take you down to see your brother, and I'm going to go to the Cal State Fullerton Titan game. And you can have some family time with your brother and your parents. It sounds like a great excuse to me. And you know what, honey? I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to drive you down to Fullerton. So, okay. Well, listen. Good luck tomorrow. Let's say go Titans. Okay.
Go Titans.
Go Titans.
Go Titans.
Okay. All right, Jenny. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll do some high school scores and high school talk.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, it's Coach Miller. You're listening to my show, Time Out with Coach Miller. I want to talk to you today about my favorite car dealership located in beautiful Hollywood, California. It's called Gem Motors. Gem Motors is located at 5639 West Sunset Boulevard. If you want a high-end automobile that's at a great price, whether it's a BMW, a Mercedes, a Jaguar, or a Porsche, go to my friends at Gem Motors. They have a beautiful indoor dealership located at 5639 West Sunset Boulevard, right across from Home Depot. Go see my friends at Gem Motors. Tell them Coach Miller sent you and get a special discount. The phone number is area code 323-962-9696. 323-962-9696.
16 made a dream with this basketball. Coach Miller on the court, and we going hard. Pass the rock to the paint. I give him my all or be like Chris Paul. Shoot the 3-point, y'all. Look, it's time out with Coach Miller. 14 straight conference championships. We winners. It don't stop from the bottom to the ceiling. Cause all I know is win and we winning. Full focus, we got a topic to discuss. High school, prep school, small colleges, yup. Another special guest today, listen up. It might get a little hectic from the stuff we discuss.
Hey, this is Coach Miller. I'm excited to tell you about my new instructional videos that are on DVDs, produced and distributed by Scoreboard Media out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Scoreboard Media is a great outfit. They also publish books on recruiting and basketball. But what I want to tell you about is to make sure you get a chance to see my post-play DVDs. If you want to become a better post player, score more in the post, and be more effective for your team, why not check out my DVDs? These great instructional videos will really help improve your game. Scoreboard Media is the place to get them at.
Look, it's time out with Coach Miller. 14 straight conference championships. We winners. It don't stop from the bottom to the ceiling. Cause all I know is win and we winning. Full focus, we got a topic to discuss. High school, prep school, small colleges, yup. Another special guest today, listen up. It might get a little hectic from the stuff we discuss.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We are at Skidrow Studios, and thank you for tuning in and listening to Time Out with Coach Miller. We've had a great show so far. I'm excited. I've got Ernest Baskerville on with me, who is becoming our special guest co-host.
From the good side of Spring Street.
Yeah, the good side. The side with no rats, Scott. So here we are. Let's talk a little high school basketball. And by the way, before we get going, Coach, introduce your assistant, Chris Acker.
Well, this is my assistant, Chris Acker.
Okay, but here he is on camera.
That's him.
That's him. And tell me a little bit about Chris.
Chris is a great assistant coach. I mean, it's funny. We're always together. We're actually really alike. A lot of things we both like. A lot of the same stuff, and we talk. I talk to him just as much as I talk to anyone. I mean, he's the second on the speed dial behind my wife.
Okay,
and he, anything. I ask, he does, and I deeply appreciate that. As a head coach, you want to tie yourself to someone that you can deeply trust. and he's that person for me.
Yeah, nice. Well, Chris, you've been with Coach for 2 years now.
Yep.
You just finished your second year. You did 1 year at Providence. Now you're at LaSalle. And it's great to have you on with us.
Thanks for having me.
And imagine my surprise when I go to the Loyola game and I hear somebody screaming, Chris, and I'll turn around, hey, Chris. And then the people are looking at me going, who are all these Chris's?
there you go. Chris, you did go to the Loyola Redondo game tonight. Tell us about it.
Oh, my God. It was such a great game. Redondo, I think out of the 8 teams that were left tonight was this is their second game in a row that they were picked to lose. They were picked to lose against Compton last week. They turned around and beat Compton. And they were playing Loyola, who is number 2 in the state and ranked by Max Preps as the number 5 ranked team in the nation. They have a McDonald's All-American that's going to UCLA next year. They have, just a wealth of talent on the team, and they just controlled the game from the beginning, from the tip to buzzer, and they pulled out the win, 11-point win tonight, which was a very big win for them. So they're
huge win.
They're going to the game. They're playing the game that Chris watched tonight, which was Chino Hills and Etowanda, and Chino Hills pulled that game out. So they're going to be playing Chino Hills in Chino Hills next week.
Nice. Well, Ernest, let's get to some scores and talk a little bit of high school basketball here. We're at an exciting time here with the playoffs, and nobody knows what's going on more in Southern California high school basketball than you. So let me hear it. Give me your thoughts and insights here.
Well, I think one of the big games tonight, if you look at the score, was the Riverside North with their big win over Corona Centennial.
Okay.
78-76 win. North didn't get a lot of credit all year. People tried to say, how did they get into the open division? They only beat one. One of the criteria was you had to beat people in the open that were listed on that open division watch list. And they'd only played one team, Bishop Montgomery. And they beat Bishop Montgomery actually in my showcase.
Which was a great game.
Man, that game was a great game.
One of the best games of the night.
Man, and they turned around and beat Corona Centennial, who they haven't been able to get to play them in the last few years. And, and to get them to play them tonight, by the fact that they're in tournament together, that was a big game. Now they have a matchup with Modern Day, and I'm not sure if that game is going to be I don't know who won the coin toss, but that game is it's at Modern Day. That's going to be tough.
With Stanley Johnson, who went off for 40. Yeah.
So the 12 seed going to the 1. It's going to be a good game. I like that. I was surprised of the a couple of the other scores, in regards to I thought the Sierra Canyon game would have been a little closer. I thought it was going to be like a last-second shot attempt type game, but it was a 5-point game with Sierra Canyon winning 53-45. That's in that consolation portion of it. And, Bishop Montgomery got the win over Cathedral. Mm-hmm. That was, that Cathedral has a ton of size,
right?
But I think that speed offset it.
Bishop Montgomery 71, Cathedral 59. I had one of our staff at that game tonight. I wasn't surprised that Bishop Montgomery won that game. I did predict that prior to the game. I just thought that the quickness and the experience that they have would prevail. But here's what I feel bad about, and I kind of went off on the way the CIF has done this open division. I don't think it's right, because let's talk about Cathedral. They got screwed, okay? They make the open division, okay? So that's supposed to be a big honor, and it's supposed to be, this is a great thing, right? And you make the open division, okay? Cantwell got screwed too, okay? And I talked about this last week on the show, Chris.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Before they played, is these teams come in here and they both go 0-2. Okay, this is how you're going to end your season, as good as you've been?
Well, this is what I think, Coach. I really believe that at the end of the day, they're still going to look at these teams because they're clearly, some of the best teams in the division. How do you leave out a team like that to put in? And, let's say I had won all the way to the finals in my division, which, we didn't, but still, say if we did, we reap the benefit of those guys being out and, they don't get the opportunity have their kids play for the best, for the best position. Because like you said, they just lost twice.
Right.
So, it's not losing twice. They're out. They don't get opportunity to play.
But they have to apply, because I met with the CIF people about this, Chris. They have to apply. Okay, the loser of the consolation bracket gets an automatic bid. The first...
No, the winner.
The winner of the consolation
bracket. The winner of the consolation bracket gets an automatic bid. Right. And then the teams that won the first round game. So the other teams, I was told directly by the CIF office, personally, that they have to apply to get in to the state playoffs, and that there's no guarantee.
I think
there's no guarantee.
I don't think there's a guarantee for a team like Sarah. I think Cathedral, because they're in one of the lower divisions, I think they're going to get in to the state playoff along with Cantwell, because they're both in the lower division. I think if one of the bigger teams had lost that first game and then lost their second game, I think for sure they probably wouldn't get in. But I think because they're playing in a lower division, I think both Cathedral and Cantwell will both get in.
Well, you may be right, but that's not the point. The point is,
I see what you're saying.
The point is, it's absurd, like Chris said, because it's not right. It's not right. It should be a reward to go to the open division, and instead, Cathedral and Cantwell get seated so low, they got to go on the road and play Mater Dei and Etiwanda, so they're almost guaranteed to lose those games to start. So now you're in a hole. You're 0-1, okay? Now you got to play the second game. Now you're going to play a ball buster. So Cantwell had to play Chaminade, who's really good. Right, Ernest? Chaminade's good.
Chaminade finished second in the Mission League. Mission League is considered the toughest league in the United States.
Right.
And so for them to come out of there in second place and lose their first round game, and then, so basically let's say they lose the next game. Let's say if they lose in the consolation semis. You're going to tell me that they're not deserving to go to the state?
Yeah, right.
Now, see, what I'm wondering is this, Coach. Are they thinking about this? Okay, they're not going back to their division. What if they just expand the open division state and put them in open division state playoff?
Right.
Well, that could happen, but that's not happening now. Now, what the other thing that I think is really unfair, and I'm going to go back to this again, Chris, and I get your point about maybe Cathedral and Cantwell get in. I get your point, but okay, let's then go talk about Sarah. Okay, let's talk about Sarah. Let's say, okay, Sarah went 0-2 in this. Okay,
right.
Is that fair to them? I mean, in other words, they were in your league, Ernest. Sarah, they went 0-2 in the open division.
I feel they deserve to be in the state playoff.
But I'm going to tell you, I don't think they're going to get in. I don't think you're going to get. You're not going to get all 16 open division teams in the state playoffs. It's not going to happen.
I think they're going to be one of the ones that are going to be left hanging. But I'll give you another crazy scenario. Loyola won their first game, so they're automatically guaranteed the state playoff,
right?
State berth. But then they lost tonight, so now they got to sit for a week and a half before states start.
Right, and then that's what I was going to bring up, Chris, about how absurd this is. I'm going to pick up Chris's word because it's a good word for this. This is a farce, Ernest, because now what happens is these teams, it's not just Loyola, it's the teams that lost both games. Okay, it's Cathedral, it's Cantwell, it's Sarah and
Compton.
Yeah.
Those four teams now have to sit around for almost 2 weeks
to find out if they're even going to make it.
Exactly.
Okay, so now what do you do as a coach, Scott? You say, okay, let's go to practice. Well, we Coach, are we in the state tournament? Well, we don't know.
Sure yet.
We don't know.
What do we prepare for? What are we doing?
Yeah. When are we going to know?
Practice the things that you should practice in
I
every
got
practice.
one for you, Scott.
Okay,
what about this one?
I agree.
What if you have a guy that's a baseball player? What if your starting point guard is also the pitcher? So how do you feel as a baseball coach? You guys don't know if you're in or not. How are you taking them away from my practice?
And Scott, now you got to sit around for 2 weeks and wait to see if you get in the state tournament. But moreover, you don't have a game for 2 weeks at the most critical part of your season.
Yeah.
You know, as a coach, what I've always done, Chris, you played for me, is I've always had my team prepared to play their best basketball at the end of the year. Right. How do you do that if you don't have a game for 2 weeks, if you're sitting around, Chris? How do you do that?
You don't.
You don't. You don't.
I like this. Like we talked about this on in last week. I love the concept of this tournament. I love getting the 16 best teams in. But the way that they're just the open-endedness of some of the teams and what they're going through, I don't like. That's the part I don't like. I love the tournament itself. I love the fact that, I've seen 2 great games so far and possibly another great game this coming Tuesday. But it's just the way that some of these teams are done. I don't like it. Like if you got into this open division, you should automatically be guaranteed to stay playoff berth.
Absolutely.
Right. I agree. Now let's talk about, so Ernest, you gave our scores. We had the Mater Day beat Mayfair by almost 20, right?
Yes.
Okay, Riverside North, you talked about beating Corona Centennial. That was a huge win. Okay, Redondo, Chris talked about beating Loyola by 11. And then the big upset, and Chris, was this the game you saw, the Chino Hills Etiwanda game?
That's the game I went to.
Okay, that's the big upset, right?
The interesting thing, and you don't see this on the score, Chino ended up winning by 11. Jordan McLaughlin went down with a shoulder injury in the second quarter and missed the rest of the game.
Okay.
So he didn't even come back out until like the middle of the third quarter. He looked like he had a sling on his arm. He didn't have a sling. It was like he was holding his shoulder the whole time, so he was done.
Okay.
And Etiwanda put up a fight, though. That 11 was on free throws at the end of the game. But they fought. They just, it seemed like they were missing that extra push over and that was obviously Jordan.
Okay. Now the semifinals will be Tuesday, Ernest, and tell us about those.
It's going to be some good games. I mean, I'm looking here at some of the matchups. You have Riverside North and Mater Day. Actually, Redondo Chino Hills. I mean,
that's the game.
Both teams have athletes.
So those are the semifinals, right?
That's the semifinals for the open division.
And that's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Okay, so it's Riverside North at Mater Day and Redondo at Chino Hills. And
how
then
about this? The consolation semis.
Tell me who those are.
St. John Bosco at Bishop Montgomery and Sierra Canyon and Chaminade.
Wow.
And St. John Bosco.
Sierra Canyon and Chaminade, that's like a down the street game.
Exactly. and then the St. John Bosco and Bishop Montgomery. Wow. So what's happening here is these consolation semifinal games, Scott, these are as good as CIF championship games in normal years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I really feel they should do. It's kind of similar to what the city section is doing right now with the Final Four. They're having all those games tomorrow at Southwest College. I would have put, especially when the first round, I would have had 2 gyms right down the street, maybe 2 junior colleges.
We talked about that last week.
You guys did?
Yeah.
Oh, man, there's no way they should have
because
done that.
to me, if you have the 16 best teams, and I mean, we got into this at length last week. Why are they playing on
same night?
On not only the same night, but
all over the place.
But why are they playing? Why does one team have an advantage of having a home game? Like Coach said, and I agreed, especially the first round.
Because they all were first place teams.
Have to, right. Okay, so if Mater Day was the number 1 seed, they're the number 1 seed. Okay, so they get to host that game. So have 2 games at a junior college down in Orange County somewhere. Now, still, Mater Day is still, like the NCAA bracket. You get in and you get
go
some
by regions,
right?
It's by region.
And so like an IE one. So maybe at Chaffey College or somewhere out there in IE or Cal State Riverside. UC Riverside.
You have regions like Ernest said,
right? And have it at a neutral site.
Ernest has a lot of experience at running events and tournaments, and he's exactly right. You have regions. What you do is you get the Orange County region, you get a junior college, Santa Ana College, and you get Mater Day plays whoever they're going to play there, and then you have another game there the same night. So, and you can charge $20 for a ticket. And the parents and the kids and the fans, they can see both games.
And not only that, but like tonight's game I'm sure the same game that you saw, Chris, at Etiwanda with Chino Hills, the Loyola Redondo game was sold out. And there was probably they're turning people away. So there was another 200, 300, 400 people that probably would have came if it was at a bigger site.
Leaving money on the table.
I got there 30 minutes before tip, and I barely got in.
Right. I got there an hour before the game, and the gym was half full by then. So, I mean, you like you said, they're leaving money out there.
That doesn't sound very basketball.
No. Hey, I have a question. Did St. Francis beat La Cañada by 20?
No, they won by 3.
By 3.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw something different?
I saw 56-33 St. Francis.
56-53.
Yeah.
Okay.
St. Francis
there's
over La
a
Cañada.
typo.
That's that small phone that you use, Coach.
Yeah.
We need to get you up with the times.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, I want to give a special shout out to Calabasas High and a former assistant coach of mine who's the head coach there, John Pillars.
John was your assistant?
He was.
John's great. He's a great guy,
And
great coach.
A great coach and a really, really good coach. And John and Calabasas beat El Dorado tonight in the CIF playoffs 67-49. I enjoyed working with John. It was a lot of fun. And it was, this was, Scott, I'm telling you, I was a high school coach then, so this was probably 25 years ago.
It was sad this week. All our former guests lost this week.
Well,
Pioneer lost Tuesday night and Pasadena lost tonight. So
I was gonna say, and Price lost to Windward tonight.
Oh, really?
Which I was disappointed in. I love Miguel over at Windward, but Coach Mike Lynch and I are really, really close friends, and Windward beat Price 78-64 tonight, and sad for Mike Lynch. He's really a good man, and he's been a guest on our show. And like you said, all of our former teams lost tonight, Scott. I mean, Pasadena High lost, Pioneer lost Tuesday, Pasadena High lost tonight, Price lost tonight.
In a overtime thriller. I mean, I had some people at that game, and they were texting me like every 2 minutes to score, and it wasn't no overtime. And they said it was just a great game, great atmosphere over at Westlake.
Is that right? Ernest, what else do you have for us high school playoff-wise?
Well, you had the Village Christian Campbell Hall game. I heard was a really good game.
91-75.
The score isn't indicative of how good the game was. They said, but it was a great game. And that's going to be a great Village Christian versus Windward should be a really good game. And the sad part about it is going to be, Coach Miguel Villegas. This is the last run because he's stepping down as coach,
right? And
at Windward, and you have that really good quality trio that they have over at Village Christian. With a junior Benny Boatwright, and then you have Brian Alberts, who's a senior going to Gonzaga, and you have Marcellus Johnson. That's going to be a really good matchup.
It will be, and Village Christian probably has more talent than Windward. I've seen them both, and I think Village Christian has more talent. Would you agree with that, Coach?
You know what? I think the fact that they have older players probably helps them. Windward's young. Mm-hmm. I mean, their best players are all freshmen, sophomores, and juniors.
Like Sierra Canyon.
Like Sierra Canyon. They're really young. And they're in that same league. That's the crazy thing about it. I think it's going to be a good game. Both teams can put up numbers. Both play really good defense. I think it's going to be, and both of them have won state titles in the last 5 years. I mean, they have a lot of similarities.
Right.
Both are small private schools.
That's right.
That's going to be a good one.
I'm gonna throw this one out to Scott because Scott's a UCLA guy through and through. Aaron Holiday had 42 tonight for Campbell Hall, although they lost to Village Christian, as you said. He's the brother of Drew Holiday, right? Right. Now, is he going to UCLA? I
don't even think he's a senior yet, is he?
He's a junior.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Should he be going to UCLA? He had 42 tonight. I mean, his brother's in the NBA. His brother played at UCLA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play high school ball, but
you're missing out.
But if he's put up 42 in the playoffs, it sounds good.
I mean, Ernest, you've seen him play, right?
Yeah, he actually coached him.
Oh, you coached him.
So the year before he was with me, he was at Campbell Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How good is he?
He's really good.
42 in the playoffs.
Well, okay, is he good as his? Which brother would you compare him to? Drew or was it Justin?
He's
that went to
more
Washington?
he's more like Drew, I think.
Okay.
Physically, you wouldn't look at him and say, okay, he's just he's a lanky kid. He's got some muscle on him, but I mean, he just dribbles down. There's no nonsense. It's straight line right at the basket, whether there's a guy there or not. Try to stop me. Yeah, you better come over and take a charge because I'm going to.
NBA good?
That's way too early to tell.
Yeah.
So they're like the Ship brothers a little bit then.
Yeah.
No, let's go back to my Laces days. All three Ships went to Laces first before they all went to Fairfax. I've known all of them since they were young.
And I got a chance to see all of them when I was in Hawaii. They came over for the Airline Classic, so I got a chance to see from Joe to Josh to Jaron.
Mm-hmm. See, Joe was a 5th grader when I was a senior at Laces.
Okay.
So I've known all of them since they were young.
Well, speaking of Laces, Coach Miller was at a game tonight. I saw Laces play in the city section. I think it was 4A. It's a little lower level of the city section. You know, I was at a gym out in the middle of the valley, Fulton College Prep. Never heard of it before. In Van Nuys, and it was pouring rain, and cars were stuck on the side of the road. And I made my way out there tonight before the show, and I was really pleasantly surprised. I saw Laces play, and they won. Laces won, so they upset the home team, who was the number 2 seed. Mm-hmm. They have a freshman, number 42, Evan Batty is his name. And he's a big young man. He's about 6'6", 6'7", I'd say about 250. And he's wide, and he's big. And he had, at halftime, 22 points tonight.
Wow.
No, I think he had 27. He had either 22 or 27 at halftime. And he had about 85% of the team's points. And he was not only scoring in the post, Scott, sealing guys and powering it up.
Yeah.
He hit 2 threes in the first half.
Wow.
I mean, this guy can play. This guy is a freshman, and he's really special. I mean, he's going to be good. Great hands.
So is he like a big butt 260 or is he a big chest 260?
No, he's a big butt 260.
Like a Sullinger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He's only 15.
Wow.
I met his parents. I met his parents. He's only 15. Okay. And my show is hosting a really special event April 5th. It's called the LA Classic, and we're hosting it's for city section players only. And we're having it at a college venue. It's a whole event. It's not just a game. It's going to be a brunch, an awards ceremony. It's going to be followed by 3 games. There's going to be the Valley schools, the City Valley schools versus the Southern region or South Bay city schools. And then it's going to be the West Side versus the East Side. And then after that is our top 24 underclassmen game. And it's going to be April 5th. We're holding it at East LA College. We've got the venue secured, and we're really excited about this event. And the top 24 game is the top 24 underclassmen from the city. And I can tell you who one of those 24 is going to be.
Is he going to play center?
And he's going to play center.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'll be at the Final Four.
You'll be at the Final Four. But it's going to be a great event, and I think Evan Beatty is going to make that top 24 underclass event. And so anyway, I'm excited to talk a little more high school playoff basketball. We've got a few more minutes left. We got about 6 or 7 minutes left on the clock. So, Ernest, what are you looking for in these upcoming games? I mean, obviously, did we cover most of the scores tonight? Were the ones the bigger games?
I don't think we got the
Division One.
We almost we didn't talk about too many Division like Long Beach Poly won tonight.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you who's doing a great job, and I have to give him a shout out because this is my guy in 1AA. His name is Chris Francis at Long Beach Milliken. Chris and I go way back. We were, bitter. It's funny. We were bitter rivals when he was at King Drew High School and I was in at Laces, and we would go back and forth. We didn't even know each other. We were actually there were 2 sides of the league. And so I was on one side, he was on the other side. Then what they eventually did was say, okay, you guys are going to be merged. So we became in the same league. So we battled back and forth. And, he did a really great job with that program. That went from there to Compton Centennial. Then now he's at Long Beach Milliken. He's a great friend of mine. And he's just, man, I mean, he took over that team last year. And the year before, they only won 1 league game. And, now this year he battled with Long Beach Poly and Compton for the top. So he ended up taking 3rd. I mean, but that goes a long way saying, what he's done. Look, they're going to be in the semifinals
of the 1AA.
They're playing Mission Viejo, who's a really good team.
So they upset Rancho Cucamonga tonight.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and won that game. That's a great win for Long Beach Milliken. And I've had a player from Long Beach Milliken in the past, Scott, so I have a lot of affinity for that school in the Moore League. So tell us what you're expecting, Ernest, coming up here with this high school playoff as we continue into next week and so on. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting, I think there's going to be at least one upset somewhere.
Okay.
And I'm looking at some of these games. I think that Long Beach Poly Inglewood games is probably going to be a good game. But I think Long Beach Poly will play Milliken in the finals. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Milliken's going to upset Mission Viejo, and that will be the final for that one. Now I'm going to tell you what's interesting. Look at the semifinals for 1A. The 1 seed has been knocked out. The 2 seed has been knocked out. So you have King playing, the number 4 team King playing Paris, the 8 seed. And then you have Villa Park at the 7 playing Temecula Valley, 3 seed.
Okay.
The odds-on favorite was supposed to be El Toro versus Alameda. Trey Meeks, great friend of mine. I'm looking right now. They lost by 3 to Villa Park. That was, once JW North was out of that division, it was those two guys.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be the 2 teams in the finals.
And Paris beat the number 1 seed El Toro 60-52.
Yeah.
So the number 1 seed El Toro went down. Number 2 Alameda went down to Villa Park 65-62. So you're saying that 1A is wide open is what you're telling me.
It's wide open right now.
Okay.
Because both Alameda and El Toro were on the watch list for the open division.
Yes.
Okay, now I want to, before we close this thing out, Coach Ernest Baskerville brought up, Scott, this Long Beach Poly. He predicted Long Beach Poly is going to play Milliken, which is a league final. But here's my question. Do you guys remember last week, Scott, Chris, I talked about how Long Beach Poly should have been in the open.
They should have been in the open division.
Wait, hold on. They won the Moore League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Compton came in second in the Moore League, right? Which team got picked and pulled up into the open division?
Compton.
Now, how does that happen? Now, Chris, is that absurd?
Absolutely.
Is that absurd, like we said earlier?
Absolutely absurd.
How does that happen?
I have no idea. I know somebody that's probably upset, though. It's Coach Tony Thomas.
Well, they tried to justify it by saying that Compton beat more quality, more open division, because that was one of the classifications on getting into the open division.
Did you guys go over their records last week?
No.
Compare the schedule?
No, we didn't.
That'd be a good thing to do.
That would be.
We could do that real quick.
That would be.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have time to do that, Chris, tonight, but you can look at it quickly. But here's what I'm going to say. By the way, so that I'm clear, if I'm Compton High and I'm the coach, what makes you think I want to be in the open division? What's wrong with being CIF 1A and winning the CIF championship? I mean, in other words, there's something nice about winning, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what makes you think that automatically that I would want to be pulled up into the open division? I'm not sure that that's the case.
And the 3 teams, I'm looking real quick, the 3 teams that made the open division, Compton lost all 3 of them.
Okay, so then what's the compelling argument to pick them over Long Beach Poly, who won the league? See, again, and that was one of the controversies when the pairing came out, because they did make it over Long Beach Poly, even though Long Beach Poly won the league.
Well, I'm looking to see who Poly played in the open division. They played Montgomery and Long Beach Poly lost to Bishop Montgomery. So they lost to Bishop Montgomery by 1. And did they play anyone else that was on the list for the open division other than Compton, who they actually – so they lost to Compton. They split with Compton. Long Beach Poly split with Compton. And then what was the turning point was Milliken beat Compton, right? To take – that's how Compton ended up with 2 league losses.
Right.
And Milliken lost twice.
And it was toward the end of the season also.
The season.
Right.
So looking at who Long Beach Poly only played 1 team, and that was other than Compton, that was on the open division list, and that was Bishop Montgomery. So they probably tried to use that as the reason. But if you look at their schedule, their schedule. They played a national schedule.
Right. More so than Compton did.
And went 23-7.
Oh, I take that back. Compton did win 1 against Bishop Montgomery.
Yeah, they played them at Fairfax.
Right.
So
I'd say, like you said, Coach Miller, though, there's no difference if I'm a coach between a banner that says Division 1A and Open Division.
I
it's
agree.
still a CIF banner.
I agree, and that's my problem. Is I think you're screwing a lot of people here. I think the CIF is screwing a lot of people. The CIF Southern Section specifically, because number one, if I'm Compton, I'm not sure I want to be in the open division. I want to win a CIF title, okay? That's number one, because it's a banner and it's a ring for the players that, Coach Dietrich Taylor earlier talked about, building character and things that people remember the rest of their lives. And that's something you remember. I've won 2 CIF titles. It's something you remember the rest of your life, something I remember still, and I'm almost 50 years old, okay? So that's number one. Number two, what I'm going to say is, it's not right. It's not fair to the team that wins the league, Long Beach Poly, that you take the team that came in second and you move them up into the higher level playoff ahead of them. And the reason why it's not fair is this. There's nothing more meaningful than winning a conference or a league championship, because everybody plays everybody on equal footing. Everybody plays everybody in a round-robin format, home and away, every team on the same level. And so you get a true champion. I mean, there's a reason to me, Scott, why the Pac-12, well, to me it's the Pac-10 still, but why the Pac-10...
And 2 mountains.
Yeah, it's the Pac-10 and 2 mountain teams. Let's be honest, okay? Utah and Colorado don't belong in the Pac-10, okay? They belong in the Big 12 or the Mountain West or somewhere else. They both belong in the Mountain West. They should both go to the Mountain West, okay? So anyway, it's a lot more meaningful if UCLA wins the Pac-10 regular season title than who gets hot for 3 days in a row. Because let's be honest, Oregon could go in and shoot the ball really well in Vegas for 3 days, and they could be they call themselves the Pac-10 champions if they win the conference tournament. But that's not meaningful. What's meaningful is who won
the regular season,
after those 18 games you play. That's what's more meaningful.
Tournaments are only about money.
Yeah, no question. So I think that we've got a real bugaboo on our hands here with the CIF Southern Section and what they're doing. And I hope that they can straighten this mess out that they created next year and figure out how a way to do this fairly. And so, that's where we sit.
I just think all 16 teams should automatically get a qualifying berth to the state playoffs. However you're going to do it, you just have to have it.
Right.
And you got to play the whole tournament out so nobody sits for a week.
Yeah, I agree. Or 2 weeks. Listen, it's been a great show. Let's close this out, Jenny, with our Coach Miller theme song, our rap by Little Kevin, who disappeared again on me, Chris. Let's roll the theme song. I'm going to send
iTunes.
I'm going to send Chris out to find Little Kevin one day soon here. Roll it, Jenny.
16 made a dream with this basketball. Coach Miller on the court, and we going hard. Pass the rock to the paint. I give it my all, or be like Chris Paul, shoot the 3-point, y'all. Look, it's time out with Coach Miller. 14 straight conference championships, we winners. It don't stop from the bottom to the ceiling, cause all I know is win and we winning. Full focus, we got a topic to discuss. High school, prep school, small colleges, yup. Another special guest today, listen up. It might get a little hectic from the stuff we discuss. Welcome to the 500 Club. We the best, my whole team tough. Close to 100 Division Ones I built up. Dedication and hard work. Step up to the court, I'm like, who ready to lose first? 14 times champs every year earned. Feet to the court, let me get in my zone. Hands grip to the ball, let me get in control. Non-stop, can't quit, that's a winner's quote. I'ma just keep doing me, hear the crowd as they cheer. 18 out of 19, coach of the year. Time out with Coach Miller, listen clear. 2 times a week, listen to me on the ear. Over 30 wins, it was for 4 straight years. First to win state my high school and college career. Over 30 wins, it was for 4 straight years. First to win state my high school and college career. It's time out with Coach Miller. 14 straight conference championships, we winners. It don't stop from the bottom to the ceiling, cause all I know is win and we winning. Full focus, we got a topic to discuss. High school, prep school, small colleges, yup. Another special guest today, listen up. It might get a little hectic from the stuff we discuss.